had it on there from my old days.
Alright, we are live then. Everybody seems to be ready, and whether or not you are, it doesn't matter anymore because we're just going to start, so get ready if you're not. But, Gold Division, Cycle 3. No, 4. Shit, yes. 4. Okay, sorry. It's been a long time since I've been saying Cycle 3 a lot, so this is Cycle 4. Round of 8, Telechubbies versus RatingBeforeDating, and we've got Art of Fa, who's been on a whole bunch, so who cares about him. And a very special guest, the return of the one and only Phil Thrill.
Return of the Mac. What's up, baby? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me on.
Always nice, yeah. Looking for co-casters all the time. Always good to have somebody that I believe used to get paid to do this and not pay him to do it.
Yeah,
So,
I got paid a little bit.
How was that?
Here and
Was
there.
that fun? Money's good.
The money when I first started was not existent, and
Right.
then it was
I know that.
not very good, like 500 a month, and then after obviously we went to work for S2, things were fine because we got paid a standard salary
Right.
there. So, and then I stopped casting in
Yeah.
January of 2012 after I became the director of esports. So,
You shouldn't have stopped.
you know how it is.
It's fine. Do you have any idea what's going on between any of these teams? I don't know how much Gold Division you've watched.
Me?
Yeah.
Approximately 0.
Yeah. What the hell, man?
Give or take.
I'm streaming this crap like every day. And nothing?
I watched a few matches, but I don't recognize either of these team. I caught
you
up
shouldn't.
on I caught up big time on Dawn and Prime Icarus
Yeah.
last week, last cycle.
Right.
But I have not watched any of the gold matches from this cycle. So.
There's a pretty good reason why you wouldn't recognize either of these two teams because they haven't been particularly good. Telechubbies actually went 0-4 last cycle, and they only avoided going back to silver because they got a forfeit win in the loser bracket round 1. So they went 0-2, forfeit, and then 0-2 and got knocked out. And RatingBeforeDating is actually a team that came up from silver, but both of these clubs won their round of 16 match 2-0 and thus are in the round of 8. And Telechubbies in particular looked really, really good. They took out Twisted Fusion, who was in Diamond last cycle. So
Right, I know that name.
yeah, they took Twisted Fusion out 2-0 in the round of 16, which was shocking to say the least. And they're looking great. Art, thoughts on draft so far? Kraken, Rhapsody, first two bans, Cthulhu and Parasite for the Hellborn, Tempest and Solstice subsequent, their Gauntlet, and Swiftblade, Empath, Ophelia, strong draft from the Legion side, Silhouette, Magnus, Torture from the Hellborn team. So, stuff looking great. Art, what do you think drafts-wise so far?
I still don't like the first pick, or just picking your carries this early, the Swiftblade and the Silhouette. It was so easy to counterpick, so I still don't know why they did it. It just bothers me. Like, you can just pick Dark Lady to counter Silhouette. Pick like a harder carry to counter Swiftblade and split push, like they did.
Definitely seems to be very possibly the motive of RatingBeforeDating. But, okay, Phil, how about you? What's your draft analysis like after 2 years or so?
Well, I just feel like it's kind of interesting to think about where heroes kind of came from, as far as if you looked at how Torturer was viewed, for instance. 2 or 3 years ago, it was like, man, this is like an intelligence carry with almost no support potential. Like, if you're running him as a support, you're basically just not using the hero the right way. And like Swiftblade, for a long time, was considered just a shit hero. Like, I mean, spin is obviously really great early on in the game, but like counterattack is fucking terrible, and can really be countered by having lifesteal. So I don't know. It's just funny to watch how like some heroes that you considered like, oh, you can't do that with this hero or whatever, have kind of come along, but not really too many changes have happened. And I mean, I guess I agree with what Art was saying. I mean, picking your carries early on definitely leaves you open, but because I think the Legion team picked a carry early on and the Hellborn team picked a carry, immediately following that, you don't really have to worry about necessarily running like the Dark Lady against Silhouette, because I highly doubt they're going to have Swiftblade and Dark Lady on the same team. It just
that'd be kind of greedy.
Would be a lot of right click.
Just be a little bit in terms of too much farm, I think, to try to spread out between those two heroes at the very least. And then, of course, you have Ophelia in the woods, which means no stacks, and that's going to become a problem later
Right.
on. But I mean, technically speaking, Swiftblade could have been their suicide option if they were going to go for a little bit more, a less greedy short lane or something like that. So I don't think you can absolutely say Swifty's the carry, but yeah, I mean, he pretty much is. Even if he's the suicide, he ends up getting too much farm to not be considered a carry. But yeah, it makes sense. I mean, honestly, I think Torturer still is kind of an intelligence carry. I don't like him very much as the support Torturer, and he kind of sucks at it based on the numbers. So,
Right. No, I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, obviously Torturer, in my opinion at least, is still that intelligence carry, but you know, he does have a reliable stun when you have a good setup, like with a Magnus, and Impalement obviously puts out a ton of damage, which gives him pretty good roaming potential early on, as well as just boxing out potential. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, my biggest problem with Torture is just as a support, I don't feel like supports are there necessarily to do damage, because very rarely does their damage scale well, because you're not going to get levels, you're not going to get farm to try to amp yourself up. If you can provide a CC tool, that's going to be valuable no matter how late the game goes, because locking a hero down, it's just always good. But if you're a damage output, like Torture's Impalement's great early on, and then at 40 minutes into the game, nobody cares about it anymore. So
right. Well, I mean, it's still useful for pushing towers
Yeah.
if you get you know, an opportunity to, you know, pick up a tier 1 or a tier 2 that you might have missed earlier on in the game. But
yeah.
But overall, I definitely agree.
So Legion's not going to finish their draft up with Kinesis and Chipper. So going from a really push and / hard carry oriented strat to this is all of a sudden about mid game burst damage. It seems like with those two heroes, and Kinesis is one I very much don't like, but Chipper a good hero. Hellborn going to finish off with Geomancer and Revenant. Geomancer a hero we've seen come back a lot recently, especially because Tree have played him to great success. Presumably going to be seeing him in the suicide role. So I guess that leaves Revenant mid. No, Revenant support. What am I even talking about? Yeah, Revenant's going to be support here. So it's going to be a dual support versus a jungle lineup, which obviously favors Telechubbies as well. So, I don't know. Final draft thoughts here, Art? You favoring one team or the other one?
I think I'm favoring the Hellborn team more, just because they have more lockdown and more stun. Torture is pretty much like their pusher in a sense, instead of the Ophelia or like a jungler. And they have really strong lanes. They can really punish the Chipper and Kinesis in their respective solo lanes.
Yeah. I feel like if this Legion side doesn't get off to a good start, they're absolutely screwed. But they could snowball really, really easily and take the game.
I think a lot of it depends on what Kinesis does in the early part of the game. I mean, the hero, obviously, it's kind of like you look at Swiftblade and Chipper and Kinesis, and they're all similar in their snowball potential. You know what I mean? If they get off to a really good start, then they can be extremely devastating. But heroes like, especially Kinesis, like if you don't get a good start or if you get shut down really early, it's very difficult to have a strong comeback. It's not like a hero like a Silhouette or another hero that has some late game presence. I mean, Kinesis is really, really early and mid game oriented. Whereas on the Hellborn team, you know, it's like Silhouette, I think, is the stronger carry between Swiftblade.
Definitely.
I really like the Hellborn team's lineup. I think I'd favor that as well, kind of agreeing with Art. But I also am really interested to see how this Geomancer gets played. I mean, it's not played very often. Want to see how he kind of skill builds it. Earth's Grasp is actually a really, really strong harassing tool and can be great for farming as well. So I don't know. They both teams are kind of reliant on winning the laning phase, in my opinion. There's a lot at stake here in the first 15 to 20 minutes.
I think that's definitely true. I think Hellborn a little bit less so. If they have a bad laning phase and they get a portal key up on Magnus and eventually Geomancer, I think they can turtle for way long and let Silhouette get up to the amount of farm that she needs. And of course Revenant is just crazy annoying to play against. So even if they have a bad laning phase, I feel like they'll be able to transition, maybe get a couple of ganks off. But yeah, I mean, if Kinesis gets off to a good start, he's going to be a problem. Honestly, I kind of hate Kinesis in general. It feels like he does so much early game damage, and he's annoying in the mid game and definitely very dangerous, but then he just doesn't do anything. Like, he takes a bunch of kills early on, and he doesn't actually use them to snowball. It's not like Pebbles, for example, where, okay, yeah, like, I'm going to get a bunch of farm and a bunch of kills early on because I have all this burst damage, but then later, I'm going to be a useful hero. I'm still going to have a nice, reliable stun and a bunch of magic damage, and I'll be tanky, and I can right-click. Kinesis just like kind of does nothing, it feels like, but we'll get forced out a little bit in this top lane.
Man, Revenant hits so hard.
Yep. Revenant and Silhouette for that matter. The landing presence in this top lane for the Hellborn is ridiculous. Like, between the mortification from Revenant eventually, not yet, of course, once he hits level 2, and the Relentless Salvo from Silhouette, it's going to be really difficult for Kinesis to do anything.
No, I mean, obviously Revenant's a very, very strong hero. Great attack animation, great attack damage, really good at harassing, has a lot of great tools at his disposal. So that's going to be a really difficult lane if they get lane control back for Kinesis to kind of get any experience or farm. But luckily, you know, do that harass, they kind of pulled the lane back a little bit, so he's going to get an early level 3 here. And actually might be able to get up to, depending on where this creep wave ends, yeah, he should be okay actually where he's at. So I think he's going to end up hitting this level 4 here, probably around the 4-minute mark, and that's pretty good for a suicide hero. And his creep farm actually isn't that terrible, you know, all things considered.
Yeah, he's only 127 gold per minute here, but he definitely could be a lot worse if...
And just getting a few creep kills and then not getting denies means you're getting good experience.
Right. He does have the second highest experience per minute on his team, and he's 3rd in the game. Which, I mean, that's what you're looking for out of a suicide. You're not necessarily looking for a bunch of farm, it's just get some levels and don't die. And bottom lane, meanwhile, actually Empath is going to fall as Geomancer with the aggressive dig. And Swiftblade was unable to get the spin out in time, so well
he
played
needs to be
there.
Careful, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that Ophelia's still level 1. All of these... Oh,
yeah.
I feel so bad for her. All of, we didn't really talk about it, but all of these camps warded here. So, yeah, still level 1. That's... Honestly, you know, we were talking about heroes that really need a good start. I mean, Ophelia's got to be one of those heroes that you look at like... I mean, how effective are you... You know, you think like, how effective are you as an Ophelia 40 minutes into a game? So...
And you look at this right now, she's got a Pustula in this medium camp, which is not going to be a great farming creep. And the wall actually will come up from Empath, so will it last long enough for them? Nope. So they know the Word of Sight is here, but this courier is still a walking courier. So they're not going to be able to get vision to actually counter this word. Okay, tree gets eaten, and now finally get it, which means Ophelia will have 2 camps to work with. But she used both Rev Wards. Yeah. And... Oh, top lane, too.
I mean, 4 minutes into the game, still level 1.
Yep.
Like, that's so good for the Hellborn team.
And we've seen this from Ophelia, too. I mean, she's just... Ever since the jungle changes, she's been so ineffective. Before that, it was first pick Ophelia all the time. When it was Stay Green versus BMG, it was first pick Ophelia all the time, and I'm missing action all over the place.
Really, really nice kill there on the middle lane. And that's obviously one of the biggest downsides to heroes like Chipper, and that's kind of one of the reasons they fell out of popularity, like Chipper and Bombardier. No escape mechanism. Right. You know what I mean? If you get caught out of position, you're basically dead. And we just talked about, before the game started, the setup stun from Magnus being able to let go into an easy chain reaction from Torture, and the early levels in the impalement, they do a lot of damage. A lot of damage.
Yeah. And top lane Kinesis actually will be in some trouble. Stasis Smash gets put down and he will die, so try to get the turn kill with the telekinetic lift or whatever the hell it's called. But
yeah, so after that kind of early experience boost that he got, and like I said, he hit about level 4 about 4 minutes in, but after that, I mean, he's really been shut down, even at his own tower there. So, and that just goes to show you the overall strength, especially of Silhouette right now. I mean, obviously the hero's been strong for a long time, but with the remake, kind of a rebirth for the hero in general in the competitive scene.
I mean, she was difficult to deal with before if she got off to a really good start, but I think she didn't have quite as much early game potential because she was, I mean, like, the fact that she has shorter range now, I feel like forces her to lane harass a little bit more than she used to. She used to be a little more passive, I guess. I don't know if I'm just being crazy. I'm kind of being crazy, I think, but I don't know.
I mean, I definitely agree with you. Like, and Chipper here in the middle lane is going to take another death as Magnus goes in for the stun. Easy chain reaction, and a couple auto attacks going to finish him off, and it's going to be Torture who picks up that kill. So
the DC being called by the Hellborn team. It's interesting. Oh, I guess the top lane, she was trying to get something here. True Drop actually will go off in Kinesis, and once again, going to get a kill. In the bottom lane, actually, Geomancer also going to kill onto Curson, so everything is falling apart here for Telechubbies. And his rating before
disgusting.
dating is up 7-0 6 minutes in. And I mean, nothing is going right. 265 GPM on the Swiftblade is their highest farmer. Everybody else below 150 gold per minute.
Yeah, and that's really bad, especially considering that Empath has been down there a majority of the time.
Right.
With that Swiftblade. I mean, it's if you have a support and you're not at 350 or higher GPM basically throughout the entire laning phase, you're just not doing your job.
Yeah. I mean, this Geomancer is almost out-farming the Swiftblade, and this has been a 2v1 the entire time. He's actually going to rotate middle here with an Invis rune, look perhaps to set up a Crystal Field. Kinesis is here as well, but that's going to get spotted out by the Invis Geomancer. And Revenant's walking over. There goes the stun in onto Chipper, second with the dig, and Chipper going to be in a lot of trouble here, actually. No, he will be able to survive and finally dies to the Impalement in the background. Meanwhile, they do get the counter kill onto Magmus. Looks like they will try to turn this on Revenant as Kinesis is standing his ground. Revenant is just barely going to die, actually, as Empath comes in for the finish off, but they do manage to kill Kinesis. And here goes the dig. Empath, there goes Swiftblade with the port and these Swift Slashes. So yeah, nice turn from the Legion team.
That was very, very nice.
Take 4, and they lose only the 3. It does require rotation from Swiftblade, but he'll definitely take that for a kill.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a nice boost to his GPM. So we just talked about him being only right below 300 GPM, and now he's up to 350. So having to get that kill is obviously really nice, and overall, I mean, it's nice just to see signs of life from the Legion team, because they were just getting completely pounded early on in the game, and I think that really starts off with just a bad stun in by Magmus, really bad initiation, and kind of sloppy follow from the Geomancer too.
I mean, they must have seen that Kinesis there, right? Like, I don't know why you're diving towers with... Okay, yeah, you had the Revenant nearby, and you had the Geomancer, which is nice, but I don't know why you're diving towers at, 7 minutes into the game when you know it's at least 3 heroes there. Like, you gotta assume that you're gonna get at least a significant amount of return damage. If it was just the Chipper, then fine. If it's Chipper +1, also fine. But Empath was there, Kinesis was there, it seemed like kind of an iffy fight to be taking in terms of decision-making. Swiftly taking a fair bit of damage in the bottom lane as Revenant has rotated over. You got any thoughts so far, Art? I don't know, you haven't said anything in a while.
My only thoughts so far is just Swiftblade went Steam Boots, which, I mean, it isn't really the biggest deal, like, just generally speaking, like Steam Boots over Phase Boots, but especially against a Geomancer. If you just buy Phase Boots, you can outrun his E and just completely nullify all the damage, so I don't know why he hasn't gotten that. Yeah.
And, I mean, he can spin to take it off, but obviously don't want to waste that, really. Wimpoth Wall actually going to help a lot, but Ophelia is still going to be in a lot of trouble here, as she will take the death. Essence Link is on to Torture, and it will stun him, but Alborn's still looking for some more. They're not going to find it. And Epic Slacker getting shut down a little bit more even, 215 gold per minute here, so... I don't know, considering how badly he started, and the fact that he just took a death there, and the fact that Ophelia now seems to farm like 230, 240 GPM when she is uncontested, it's not doing that badly.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower. The Hellborn have destroyed a
Sorry
Legion
about that,
tower.
Rachel from Pizza Hut just stopped by.
Oh, that's not a problem. You missed Kinesis absolutely blowing Silhouette up. Like, she just died. It was 0-0, I think. Yeah.
Oh, stunning on Chipper down here, and that's gonna be a really easy kill. Not sure if well, I guess the eruption was probably needed just to make sure that he didn't turn around and kill Torture.
Yeah. I think that's definitely worth it. I mean, Kinesis was nearby, and he didn't have a lot of mana, but it's a level 1 eruption. You don't have a portal key yet. Yeah, might as well just use it. He's probably not even gonna need it for however long it's on cooldown.
I mean, he's gotten off to a great start.
Yeah.
475 gold per minute on that Magmus. I mean, he is going to have this portal key extremely early.
Right.
Plus, he's got some nice build-up with the steam boots and the power supply.
And the bottle.
I mean, this is just going to be and the bottle. I mean, this is going to be or it could be, I should say, a really nasty development for the Legion team. I mean, just having that early presence, the early Team 5 presence, basically frees you up to push towers whenever you want. Yep. Just because you get the enemy team just kind of got a psychological factor.
And the best part is Magmus doesn't really need to take farm anymore. I mean, he can free this up for Silhouette and Geomancer. Yeah, Revenant can invis himself and walk past this Ophelia, who's level 7. So she's actually doing okay on levels now. Same level as their mid, which is not really great. Yeah, I'm not really sure where to go with that either. I mean, Chipper's died 4 times, so
Yeah.
Not great.
Like I said, it's a rough hero, and that's another one of the snowball heroes where you want to get in there, get your portal key as early as possible with some steam boots and a bottle, and basically just be able to fly around the map and start working towards, you know, depending on how you want to play him. A lot of people prefer to go for the early staff of the master, just because the snare on the ultimate's so strong. But looks like there might be a team fight brewing down here at the bottom lane.
Yeah,
as Magnus is kind of hanging back, see if he looks to charge up the ultimate. Revenant using that invisibility, trying to get a little bit of vision. He's going to actually run into a Ward of Revelation and get taken out immediately. And Magnus, no chance to really help him, and probably for the best. I think he probably would have been going into his own death at that point, especially with the ward there. Steam Bath is not reliable.
And Geomancer can get picked off as well, as he tried to put down a nice crystal field there to get himself out, but dove past the tower. That ended up being a very bad decision. So Legion side bringing all 5 heroes, and once again Silhouette is still not joining this team for their team fights. It seemed really aggressive there, like they didn't have the Magnus Eruption back off of cooldown quite yet, and Geomancer was diving the tower into the woods. Don't really know why he decided to do that, but it felt like maybe they should play a little bit slower. In the meantime, the Legion side's now going to be able to push this tier 1 tower in a lot, so...
You know, Magnus doesn't even look to be positioning himself. Okay, there's the eruption, but it's just plain sight, so they're going to be able to have time to back up.
And looks like Magnus take that death right there. Kinesis had the mass control onto Torture, not quite enough damage, but he will be able to basically back the rest of the Hellborn side off. And they get the free tower, so...
Man, I mean, that was so sloppy. I just don't understand, like... It's not like he needed to stand in lane to get vision of what was going on. They knew what was going on. They had creeps there. It's at their own tower. So even just standing off a little bit to the side, you know, by the trees, could have kept him out of vision, so that way they wouldn't have had as much time to back up. But I mean, honestly, as much as I want to just say like that was poor play from the Magnus, you also have to commend the Legion team for really sticking in. I mean, it started off 7-0 in favor of the Hellborn.
Yep.
And since then, it's obviously 12 days, so they continue to get kills. But you know, that's an 8-5 hero kill swing if you're looking at from where they came from. And the Hellborn team obviously still up by quite a bit of gold and some experience, and a lot of that is definitely coming from the towers they took in the middle and top lane as far as the gold is concerned. Oh, Swiftblade going to be able to...
You got the spin off, and they actually might be able to turn this into Magnus. Yeah, they're going to kill him. Sawblade's probably not even necessary, but used because, hey, why not? And that's actually the real Silhouette. It was the illusion for a while. She's trying to get the kill on the Kinesis, but there's a wall, and once again, excellent response from Telechubbies. They brought the ports and end up getting 2 kills out of it because, like, again, if you're Hellborn and it's 14 minutes into the game and you're trying to pick Swiftblade off, if you don't get that kill, you get out. Like, you don't stick around and wait for them to respond to you because, okay, we went for the kill, we didn't get it, fine. There's no point in us being here, you know, right next to the tier 2 tower in the top lane where they can all jump us.
The Legion had destroyed a Hellborn tower.
I don't know, that really didn't feel like a well-executed plan right there, and they will put the pit down on the bottom.
A nice counter from the Hellborn team, at least, trying to make best of a bad situation, pushing that tier 1 at the bottom lane. But the Legion team, they did go mid and push that tier 1, so this is not looking good. I think if you're the Hellborn team, you're kind of in a position where you need to settle down and focus on... Really, you need to focus on getting some positive vision for whatever objective you want to take. They have these super aggressive wards that are out there right now, which is great if you're actually going to use them as a team to accomplish some sort of task. But if they're just sitting out there granting you vision, I mean, they don't have any heroes besides Silhouette that are really like farm heavy. So you look at the jungle, completely unutilized. It's not stacked. It's not, you know, there's nothing going on in there. That's just a bunch of farm that people could be using. And I mean, you see Revenant now coming in here and just trying to put a little bit of damage onto some of these neutral creeps and
top lane solo
but
still no.
Man.
Fake. Damn that
Okay.
But I mean, I agree with you. Like, this Revenant needs to be farming the woods. I think Silhouette can farm the lane just fine, and Magnus and Geomancer should be ganking because they've both got portal keys at this point. Between the two of them, they should be able to kill just about anybody that's alone. I mean, the Legion team is not tanky by any means. So
yeah.
I mean, they can use these wards, they can be aggressive, and they can scare the crap out of the Swiftblade and the Chipper especially, and the Kinesis, who have difficulty running away from things.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody on either team that necessarily is like a tanky hero in the middle lane. Magnus going to get that eruption off just in time, and Chipper going to be picked off yet again. So Chipper, despite having that really rough start in the early game, he has made some pretty decent plays here as team fights have gone on. You know, we talked about not really needing that Saw Blade showdown at the top lane when they picked off Silhouette. Or, I'm sorry, when they picked off Magnus.
Right.
But it did help get that kill on Silhouette, and it actually provided a really nice escape route for the Kinesis to begin with.
Yeah.
So he's made some pretty decent plays. Is Art even here? I feel kind of bad. I'm like doing all the talking.
What? No. I think I'm gonna leave actually because my replay's been bugged. Like I've been trying to load in, but all I can load on any of the replays is just the drafts. Like it won't let me actually download the game.
Here's what you do. Go to My Documents. Oh, you have to close HoN for this, but
okay.
Top lane. No, it's like things will be okay. So close HoN. Go to My Documents. Heroes of New Earth. Game. And the Compat folder.
Yeah.
And there's a file in there called compat.s2z.
Yep.
Delete it. And then launch HoN back up, and it'll force you to compatize again with the replay, and it'll be totally fine.
How come it's not like actually deleting?
Is HoN open?
No.
Oh. You should just be able to delete the file. What does it say? It's being used or something?
Oh, never mind. There was a second HoN open in Task Manager. Okay, I got it.
Got it. You should have said something.
Well, I've been like trying to figure this out the entire time. Like, what the fuck is going on?
That's why you should have said something.
Look, I'm a man. Okay, I can do these things myself.
I don't need directions.
Yeah, like come on.
It's the 21st century, Art. Men are allowed to wear sweaters and drink cocoa and read books and stuff.
Debatable. You would never see me doing any of those things.
Dude, I drink cocoa. It's delicious.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What the fuck?
I mean, I've pretty much just been like watching your stream. For like these past 10 minutes, I've been watching your stream while trying to figure this shit out.
That's not terrible. I had Fusen on, and his computer is absolutely crap. So apparently one time it's just like it wasn't working. So he casted from the stream, and it actually wasn't bad because I don't stream with delay. So as long as you're not trying to do play-by-play, it's
The Hellborn destroyed a Legion tower.
Anyway, Hellborn,
nice quick push there from the Hellborn to the bottom lane.
Right.
Legion's going to take that tier 1 tower up top with pretty much no defense, but Hellborn's going to try to press mid or press high ground.
I like this.
We'll see if they're able to do it. And meanwhile, they're split pushing the middle lane with that Torture and Silhouette, and that's really smart from them.
Yep.
And I don't really see. I mean, there's really, you know, TP back from Ophelia is not really an option.
So tried to Stasis smash himself there to save him, but unable to do so. Rocket from Tripper not being able to finish off Magnus. So yeah, they get the kill, and they get some pretty good damage on the tier 3. So they managed to trade one tier 1 for 2 tier 2s, some damage on a tier 3, and a kill on the Kinesis.
See, that's kind of what I was talking about, which is Ophelia. Like, that was a misplay by the Legion team. Honestly,
Yeah.
they should have just kept pushing top. I mean, they had the creep support.
Yeah.
They basically sent a couple of guys bottom, and even though one of them got picked off, it kind of worked as a distraction. Ophelia can't TP back with her creeps, you know what I mean? She can't bring them back with her. So if you're already up there, you might as well just go into the top tower, and at least, at the worst, you're going to force a rotation as you try to back off. And at best, I mean, you're going to get a tier 2 tower kill, which would have made that trade-off a lot more even. As it stands, the Hellborn team got a much better deal out of that.
A much better deal. I mean, they traded two more valuable towers for one less valuable tower, and damage and a kill. Like that's not even close. That was an absolute win for the Hellborn side. They absolutely crushed that engagement. So a little bit more good play coming out from them, which is nice to see because, yeah, the last 10 minutes or so haven't been particularly great for rating before dating.
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising just because of that great, the great early game lead that they had, but. It's kind of odd where you think about how great the Legion team has done in the past, 10 minutes or so.
Sorry.
Oh, nice.
Kinesis actually managed to kill him with the Ophelia help, but
yeah,
good trade.
I mean, that's very, very well worthwhile trade.
And actually, bottom over here,
but
Magnus
anyway,
gonna get wrecked by the Swift Slashes. We got Empath inside of Swiftblade, trying to chase down this Torture, but not gonna find him. Over here,
yeah.
the Illusion from Silhouette is being chased by Ophelia, so it does not matter.
Yeah, but I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, even though it seems like Teletubbies has been doing a great job in the last 10 to 15 minutes of getting back in this game, you look at the gold and the experience difference, and it's continued to grow steadily. Right. And the gold growth, not so much of an issue, just because a lot of it is from the tower kills that they've gotten, and there are obviously some hero kills that are factored in there. But the experience growth is kind of the telling sign that even though they may not be coming out the best on every single engagement, they're still coming out on top overall.
Yeah, and we have two teams, I think, on both sides that are extremely level reliant. I mean, a lot of these heroes on both teams are looking to get as high level as quickly as possible because they have a bunch of skills that they want to get maxed as soon as possible. Also, by the way, it's Telechubbies.
Oh.
This guy. Doesn't even know his gold teams.
Come on, who actually cares?
I don't know, probably them.
Up 2 to 3 minute pause, my ass. Not
hey, their pizza got here too.
Yeah.
And that's why we have replay, auto skip pause. Anyway, top lane, so looking at jump by Kinesis once again, and we got a engagement from Ophelia. That's the fake cell that's being dropped by Illusion. Nice Pearl Key away. She will get slowed down. Nope, Nullstone eats that. And still going to be just fine. Now they're probably looking for a bit of a return as Revenant's coming in, but there's way too much support from the Legion team. They absolutely should not take this. And the Legion side will, in fact, back off, so will the Hellborn. So nobody going to die, nobody even going to fight. And
do you think that the change to Nullstone was like a justified change?
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I mean, obviously it's a great change for people who want to pick up a Nullstone, and it makes it a lot more accessible. But I mean, did the item need to be changed in the way that it was? Did it need to be reduced that much?
I think that it was already a pretty good item, and this has more made people realize how good it is than made it particularly overpowered. Because again, the only real change that they made to it was the cost of the recipe is now down from 1,000 to 150.
Right.
Which is not that big a deal. It's 850 gold less for Nullstone. So the people who are picking it up now on every single hero probably would have done so before if they had experimented with it a fair bit, because I don't think the extra 850 gold is that big a deal. It's an extra, couple of minutes of farming, and the item is valuable enough to warrant that. So I don't understand why people didn't pick it up more, because my big argument for Nullstone was always, like, Shrunken Head I feel like is a selfish item. I'm not going to take any damage. Nullstone is more of a team item, because it actually puts the spell on cooldown, which means it's better for your team. Anyway, top lane, so let's try to go on the Kinesis, but immediately ports out to her Illusion, because this hero is not broken at all. And again, going to get stunned, and the Illusion will be killed, but not the real Syl, so nobody cares.
Well, Quincy, I kind of agree with you, just not for the same reasons. Like, Nullstone is generally your farming item on ranged heroes if they're not going to Whispering Helm. And back when it was like 4850 or something, it really didn't scale compared to the melee farming items. Like, you get a Mock that's like the same. It's the same as like a Nullstone, even a little cheaper, and Rune Cleaver is just exponentially cheaper.
Right. And
ranged heroes don't have that built-in extra HP regen that melees do to get their items faster.
I mean, they had the
tank jungle.
The Grimoire was the old ranged farming thing, but that didn't work for every hero. Like, that doesn't work for Silhouette. She's not gonna get a Grimoire. She's gonna get a Whispering Helm, which isn't that good. So, and the other thing about that is Grimoire is such a passive item. It's a farming item to get more farming items. You can fight with Nullstone. Like, if you've got a Nullstone, you can start to take engagements. You don't have to be sitting back in the woods all the time and not doing anything. So, yeah, I mean, I like the change, if only because it opened the idea of Nullstone up to a lot more people.
Yeah.
I think the funnier thing is that if they didn't buff Nullstone, we'd probably see a billion Thunderclaws out.
I was just getting ready to bring that up, because that, it used to be that when you were a ranged hero, before Grimoire, obviously, when you were a ranged hero, it was all about the Thunderclaw, if you could get it. But then, even then, or back then I should say, Thunderclaw was so expensive, and like Charge Hammer in general was so expensive, it was like a waste of gold, and it didn't really provide that great of bonuses, especially because it used to be all RNG. So.
And Kinesis up here getting chased down by Silhouette. The Log Bolt is going to expire there. Will we get the stun? Yeah. Actually, Kinesis is going to be in a lot of trouble. Nurse Pulsing comes out. They're trying to save him. I'm not sure if they... Yep, they can. Boy. That was... Oh, wait, what the hell am I talking about? Kinesis died.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm alright.
Silo swapped out.
Alright, I'm alright. It's fine. Yeah, I love Thunderclaw, and we should see a lot more Thunderclaw. It's my favorite item.
It's just not a good item, unfortunately.
I think it's massively underrated.
I agree that it's underrated, but there's just so many better options out there, and especially with the reduction in cost to Nullstone.
Yeah.
I mean, is there really a reason to go for the Thunderclaw at this point?
It's more offensive, especially for heroes that don't need to cast as much, which aren't that many anyway.
Nice.
Yeah,
right
real big
Magnus.
engagement, and we'll see the Crystal Field will actually connect onto Empath. In the meantime, Ophelia going to take a whole bunch of damage here. Will she be able to get away? Yeah, she will, actually. Just barely able to survive, and nice, actually, the Creep's eating all the Swift Slashes. With
That's
Empath inside of Swiftblade, so not the greatest ultimate. Lava Surge going to come back onto Swifty. He does not. He does have the spin available, which I'm pretty sure he did, but
I don't think
know why.
they were going to go on that.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't just.
Yeah, that was a really nice initiation early on from Magnus, but unfortunately it wasn't able to get into a position to where he would be able to utilize that ultimate. And you can see how annoying Empath really can be, where just nothing ever cancels the essence thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're stunned in the Geomancer ultimate in Crystal Field? Oh, okay, well, I just healed up to full, basically, so...
There's a couple of things that disjoint it, but yeah, it's hard to cancel, and that's... I love Empath.
You know what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's just one of those very, very annoying...
It's a great ability. Nice 3-man Lava Surge there, actually, and Empath will get bursted down right off the bat. Still going to swap out. No, actually, sorry, the token got used there, and she didn't have the illusion anymore in the background. They will manage Skill Torture, so it's a support for support right now, but there goes Revenant as well, so support for 2 support. And now Kinesis is going to start to turn this onto Geomancer in the background. Eruption goes off onto a whole bunch as he was channeling right in front of everybody, and nobody figured it was a good idea to stop him. I'm not sure why, but Pag was going to pay for that, and we'll see. The guys on Telechubbies are turning this around. Norse Blessing hadn't even been used yet. Now Geomancer going to actually be able to portal key away, as he will likely be fine. And Courier going to deliver something to Silhouette there as well. She's also going to be able to get out. But Telechubbies taking a 2-for-3 team fight. As, I don't know, it felt kind of sloppy there from the Hellborn side. They took way too long to use their Eruption. And the Crystal Field obviously wasn't available.
You can see... Oh, yeah. I mean, you can really see how the early game that Chipper had has impacted his ability to continue the team fight.
Yeah.
Though, like, that would have been an excellent opportunity to try to chase that Silhouette down if he would have had a portal key and been able to get... Oh, nice Hex on that Kinesis right there. Crystal Field's going to land and do a little bit of damage to him, but really, with that shield up, he didn't take too much damage. So, a very underrated ability, or I don't know if underrated is the right word, but...
It's hard to see it.
Easy to miss. Easy to dismiss. Kind of like Gunblade's shield.
And the big thing is, too, as a spectator, it's like the Cover of Darkness from Darkblade or something like that. It's hard to see exactly what it's doing. It's just Kinesis all of a sudden doesn't take damage anymore. So you think, oh, he's dead, but he's got a giant shield that's going to eat a whole bunch of damage. And oh, look, I guess he's going to be totally fine. Yeah, so they got a Sheepstick up on the... who's that even? Geomancer got a Sheepstick? Man, that's fast.
Yeah.
He's got 390 gold per minute.
I mean, he just kind of kept going from where he went at the bottom lane.
Yeah. I really do not understand why this Hellborn team isn't, like, crushing. You look at the GPM charts, that's just insane.
Really, they're just like under-experienced. They're not as confident. I think that's really the problem. They're not itemizing correctly either. I mean, if they just buy a BKB on Silhouette, they can't do any damage.
Yeah, Kinesis and Chipper are both completely shut down. That's true. Everybody should have a Shrunken for that matter. I'm not sure why Magnus doesn't have one. But
yeah, I mean, there's like really no physical damage coming out from the Legion team besides Swiftblade, and Swiftblade doesn't do...
Right.
I mean, it's not like he's focusing Magnus down or anything. So, I mean, there's really no reason for him to get a bulwark right now. You should have just gone a Shrunken Head. At
this point, I mean, even Swiftblade's physical damage is kind of lacking. He's 360 GPM, and his ultimate is the source of the vast majority of his damage.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the problem is just he didn't really buy... He's buying items to carry, but he just simply doesn't do enough damage, even with Empath inside of him. But
and Word of Revelation actually going to catch Revenant out, but he'll be push-booked out. Silhouette can eat the rockets. Crystal Field completely wasted. I don't know why they think that ability is going to hit if they use it like that. Anyway, split blade spin with Empath inside, but the Hellborn side are very, very good at getting the hell on out of here. And split blade not going to do anything. This is the real Silhouette off to the side. We'll see if she can do anything. And against the Chipper, and actually gets just poured out to the Illusion because realizing quickly that she does not want to be in that position. So
I think one of the biggest issues for this Legion team is the Swiftblade's items are kind of team fight items, which is fine, but they don't really put him in a position to go out and farm very well, as far as like just kind of static farming. And you know, we talked about the same problem with the Hellborn team. The Legion team didn't really utilize the jungle at all. You know, there were no stacks there waiting for him. There just wasn't a lot for him to do after the laning phase was over. And because of that, he's had no farm boost. He's only sitting at 350 gold per minute, which is, I mean, look at Silhouette at 518. Like, that's just insane. Even the Magnus is over 400. Like, if you're supposed to be the late game presence, the hard carry, and you're playing it here like Swiftblade, who, as we talked about earlier already, actually is going to try to go get a kill on this Geomancer, but he's going to actually...
Sheepstick is there, but he's going to be able to hang on out, so he will be just fine.
I actually thought Magnus might try to turn around and initiate and kill on that Kinesis, but he's going to go ahead and Lava Surge and then PK away. And so meanwhile, the Hellborn team looking to push down here, push high ground. That defensive tower already very, very low, so this should be an easy tower kill. Let's see if is the fortification even up? Yeah, it is, and they use it at the wrong time. I thought they might be trying to go for the deny, but yeah. So a really nice,
not helpful.
Really nice use of the deception there, so to speak, on the Legion team, or you know, on the Hellborn team. I mean, be able to sneak in there and get that tier 3 kill in the bottom lane.
Right. And it does feel like they're sort of pressuring every lane, which is good in that, you know, they're forcing Legion team back to base a lot to defend, but they're not getting that much out of this. I mean, 33 minutes in, with as substantial a gold lead as they have, as good as their farm is on all of their heroes. I mean, their lowest farmer is 220 gold per minute on the Torture, which is fantastic. So I feel like they should be able to absolutely crush their opponents right now, and they're not really doing that. Geomancer actually going to put a whole bunch of damage. I hear the Crystal Field will only hit Kinesis, and he just gets wrecked because for some reason he thought it was a good idea to go back in with 40% health. And I don't get why, but oh well. He's a man, I suppose.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, really just like putting into perspective what you were talking about earlier with Swiftblade's farm, I mean, he barely has, I mean, he doesn't even have more creep score than that Suicide Geomancer really laning against. It's really just a problem. I mean, I guess Geomancer was taking his jungle at most of the game, but I mean, he shouldn't be doing that anyways. They should be collapsing and protecting their jungle.
I'm not even sure if it was him taking the jungle so much as Ophelia had all those creeps blocked out in the beginning, so she needed the woods to stack to, you know, just to recover. Actually, Eruption coming up in the top lane, and Kinesis is going to get absolutely destroyed by it. So, easy done there, and really, really late Nua's Blessing because it didn't even hit the Kinesis. Just, I don't know. It's the second time that they've used something completely late and gotten nothing out of it as a result. So, I don't know if it's just reaction time or communication is off or what the hell is going on with this Telechubbies team. But they definitely feel like they're not 100% there.
Watch my blade die.
I mean, it is gold, so.
Well, I mean, still, I mean, these guys are, you know, better than the average HoN player, and
substantially.
I mean, those are kind of things that the average HoN player, I think, or average MOBA player in general, I think, you know, kind of knows what's going on. As see Silhouette picking up that Savage Mace there, so gonna have that to work with. Not really sure why she picked it up. I mean, there's no evasion on the other team, and you know, people. I think a lot of people get kind of glossy eyes when they see the plus 88 damage and the ability, you know, possibility for the 100 physical damage, but Savage Mace is not as good as Rift Shards later in the game. Just an overall raw damage output.
Oh yeah, not even close. I mean, it's a plus 100 versus a, what, a 2.4 times crit. So that which you take your pick.
That's a little weird for me, and I mean, it's like Swiftblade's doesn't have any build-up items, so it's like you'd be like, oh yeah, Swiftblade's obviously going to go for this item, you know. And I would, if I was going to go that route, I think I would probably at least wait to see what the enemy carry was going for. I mean, with 2,900 gold, Swiftblade obviously has some options available to him. I guess he could start building into a wing bow, but probably not now. I mean, I guess like a basher, I think, would probably be
I don't know.
viable option here. I don't know. I mean,
like, he's not.
I don't know. What
tanky.
do you go at 36 minutes in when you're only farming 350 gold per minute on a Swiftblade, and you already have Frostburn?
I mean, really, at this point, he just can't get anything that will have any impact. It's just he's getting things a little late. Basher is a little.
So,
I mean,
like
if he got this
man.
like 5 minutes ago, it'd be better. But
Right. Like I said, that was what kind of stood out to me with Brutalizer, Basher, whatever, as being an option. But again, picking that up right there, especially after the Kongor kill, you know that the Hellborn team's going to try to want to make a push here. So now he has no buyback. He's got no ability to do anything, so if he gets picked off, he's just done.
If he gets picked off, it's the game. I can't imagine. Unless he gets picked off after the Hellborn lose like 4 heroes. I just can't imagine they can come back from that, because Silhouette's really, really powerful right now. But, I mean, okay, the Savage is fine. Why not Wingbow? I don't understand why you wouldn't go Wingbow. I mean, it fixes Silhouette's range issues. It's not that great. It's going to give her evasion, which would have made the Basher even less valuable, and actually a nice port out there going to stop a bunch of damage from pieces.
I mean, I guess my only guess would be that he gets True Strike for hitting the racks from downhill.
Yeah, but
Sort of downhill.
Been destroyed.
And, yeah, I mean, his range is so short, like, it's like
he's not even downhill.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have the safety of being able to be further downhill and missing a few times because I'm downhill. Oh no, at the very least I'm not going to die because I'm further away. But either way, they do manage to pick off the melee racks in the bottom lane, so kind of hard to second guess them too much because they are winning pretty damn hard. But yeah, I mean, they have finished the breastplate here onto the Magnus, so they're going to have some good team fight with that. Looks like they're actually going to group up and push top as well, so let's see how much utility you can get out of a single token. Apparently it's quite a lot, and Geomancer actually going to get locked down by the Ophelia creeps. We'll be in a lot of trouble. There goes the Shawblaze as well onto Revenant. They got to pick a target here. Which one do they want to go for? And it looks like it will be Revenant in the end as Geomancer manages to dig away, but the red ward goes down, and Revenant is going to be able to go bye-bye. Magnus now push booking himself away, has the portal key up, so he'll do just fine. Meantime, Silhouette is killing the mid tower. And they will finally realize that, get a port in from Chipper, who's just going to get destroyed. Because, yeah, Focus Buffer doesn't do a lot against Silhouette there, Chipper. Not sure if you know about that. And Empath, for some reason, thought that was a good idea. What, like... What did he think was going to happen? Okay, they do kill Geomancer over here, which is kind of nice, I guess, but...
Oh, thank God, I was so close on Silhouette.
I don't know. Well, the eruption actually won't be stopped there, and the barrier are going to eat a lot of the eruption charges, but looks like Ophelia's still going to be in a lot of trouble here. Nope, Nero's busting going to go down, and now she's got some support, so Swiftblade and Kinesis coming in, but a Trunking Head gets popped. And now, Magnus going to be able to basically just eat all the damage because it doesn't matter. Is he going to be able to survive? No, he's not, because the Switch Slashes are there, and they will clean him up, so...
That was really sloppy from Magnus.
Yep. And it did feel like it.
Really, really sloppy.
Could have just stunned into the woods, and would have been fine.
So, stun, steam bath, blink.
Yeah.
Use it. Learn it, live it, love it.
Okay, so let's go back and take me through Empath's thought process here. I've just seen the opposing team's hard carry, who is farmed out of his mind, kill my team's mid, who is substantially more farmed than I am, pretty damn quickly. I have no support, and I'm going to complete my teleport right on top of him when he's got a tree grapple up and ready to stun me. Anybody want to justify that?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is usually players just run when they see a port, they don't want to take the risk. Maybe he thought he would have ported out because he just saw a TP, didn't know who was TP, and that's my only guess.
Yeah.
Even then, it's not that smart to complete the TP.
But okay, like, who's it gonna be? Who's coming in there with teleport that's gonna scare Silhouette off when she's got an illusion up?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. What's he gonna? Who's gonna get him off the tower?
If it's Swiftblade, all right, fine. He probably puts some damage in and then teleports out the illusion if he doesn't kill the Swiftblade, and then Silhouette's fine, so it's not a problem. Like, she had support coming in, but it was way late. That didn't make any sense to me. Anyway, that game will go to Rating Before Dating. It took probably a little bit longer, I think, than it really should have, but
Probably.
in the end, they do manage to take the nice safe win, 600 plus GPM on Silhouette, and really everybody did very well on that team as they managed to not quite throw away an excellent laning phase and take the victory. But what about you, Phil? You got final thoughts?
I mean, I can kind of see why they didn't end it, simply because I think a lot of it comes down to, like Art was talking about, a lack of experience. But there's no reason to really press the attack. You know what I mean? Like, when you, especially if you know that you're in a significant lead and you have the stronger late game, then there's really no rush. You know, no rush in getting things done. They were obviously so far ahead of them item-wise and level-wise that I don't think the Hellborn team was really feeling any pressure to kind of end, especially once they got into the mid-game stage, once they got probably around 25-30 minutes into the game, and they looked at, you know, what their players had compared to what the Legion team's players had. I just don't think they were probably saying, you know, Telechubbies has pretty much no chance to take this. So
Sure.
We'll do it in our own sweet time. Better to play safe than too aggressively and end up throwing away a really commanding lead, which they basically had the entire game.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all of that. Art, anything to add?
Not really. I mean, Swiftblade just didn't really have an item to carry, is what I was thinking. Like, he has the Basher and the Frostburn, etc., but he just doesn't do that much damage, even with Empath inside him. And even if he did do that damage, he's not going to catch up to Silhouette 600 GPM. He needed, like, a portal, like, just a bunch of portal keys in his team being able to support him to catch them out. Just being ahead in general. I mean, they didn't really use Ophelia to push that many towers, which I feel they should have had an advantage with.
Yeah. Well, no matter what, we'll see if Telechubbies can bring it back a little bit in Game 2 and show us some more of what got them here, as opposed to whatever the hell that was, because it wasn't really that. So, we'll be back in just a moment, and stick around, guys.